Before you go spending additional money on ad campaigns, social media, direct mail campaigns, any of that stuff, there's something very simple that you should be doing that you're probably not taking full advantage of. It's your Google reviews. And it's not as simple as get more 5-star reviews. Because if it was, I guess the video would be ending. But it's not. So in this video, I'm going to show you how Google actually judges your reviews, the things that you're probably doing wrong, how to get more of those reviews, and then how to use them in your marketing to get more leads today. So section 1, why are reviews so important and how are they actually converting to leads? To me, it's pretty self-explanatory how reviews help people make decisions. Here's the stats if you want to look into it. I think the only thing surprising that you'll find there is how effective they actually are, but I don't think I need to convince you that reviews are helpful for people. The thing that's actually more interesting to me is how important they are to Google. And in fact, it's a top 3 local ranking factor if you want to land here in the local pack results. And this comes up when people are actually showing the intention to buy. So this is where you're looking to show up. When people are looking at contractors near me, this is what's going to show up. So how does Google actually look at reviews and decide whether or not it's a positive review or not? So it's more complicated than they just look at, you have 90 5-star reviews. Now we have seen with some people that once you get the magic number of 10, they start to push it a little bit more. You'll see an immediate bump. So if you're under that 10 marker, you'll want to get to that number. But if not, they give priority ranking to companies that have reviews that are recent, specific, responded to, and include photos. Now, Google also goes through and actually reads your reviews. So having a description that says like they did great is not nearly as good as an example like this from TrueStar Outdoor, one of our clients, that mentions exactly what's going on. Google can actually go through, read this review, and see that it looks like an authentic person that had a positive experience. So that's a trust signal to Google that's like, okay, this person is an actual outdoor remodeler, so we're going to rank them a little bit higher than somebody else. Responded to. Google considers business engagement, like responding to reviews, a positive ranking signal. So that means you should be responding to all of your reviews, positive and negative ones. And lastly, includes photos. So Google automatically prioritizes reviews with photos. So as we go through, we can see all the reviews with photos, and then we scroll down more, and you get all the reviews without photos. And the other thing is if you have some reviews that are older or maybe for an outdated service that you don't do anymore that are showing up at the top and you need to move them down, this is a great way to do it. You can then make sure that your new reviews stay up top. Okay, so now we have a better understanding of what your reviews need to look like. So how do we make sure that we are consistently getting those reviews? We've worked with a lot of contractors over the years, and here's some tips that we've found to be massively helpful on consistently getting these high quality reviews every single time. Number 1, it's all about when you ask. So we always encourage people, what we've seen to work well is asking twice. Once at the beginning before you started the project. A lot of times the remodelers that we work with will say a line something like, if we knock this out of the park for you, would you be willing to give us a 5-star review? This does 2 things for you. 1, it's way easier for you to actually ask for the review at the end of the project because you've already set that expectation. And 2, you're actually more likely to get clients to follow up on that because they will remember back to the time where they made that actual commitment with you. So you ask at the beginning of the project, and then the next time is at the end of the project within 24 hours. A lot of times what our clients will do is ask during the final walkthrough of the project or as they're wrapping up the project and sending over their final documents. Number 2, make it simple for them. You're already asking for reviews, so at the very least, how can you make it simple to make sure that they follow through on it? There's a couple of ways that we recommend it. 1, you can text them a direct review link so they don't have to go anywhere, they don't have to Google it themselves, they can just click the link and go there to find it. Or 2, what seems to work even better is having in your final project documentation a specific page dedicated towards leaving reviews with a QR code that guides them there. Now this is nice because it's physical, so it's a lasting reminder for them to leave a review, as well as it can help guide them, which takes us to our next point. Now I personally am a fan of creating a nice looking page that you can hand to them. I was talking with ChatGPT this morning, and here's a quick one that it made for me. Now obviously the QR code doesn't work, we can change out some of the information, but here's a quick example of what that handout could look like to give to your clients. If you don't have anybody on staff with this kind of expertise, I'd recommend either just doing ChatGPT and giving them a prompt that looks like this, or going over to Canva, finding a template you like, and building out to add in this information. And lastly, making sure that the review includes photos. Here's what I'd recommend. Hopefully you're doing professional photography. Rather than waiting on that to get done and getting those results back, I would still recommend asking the first 24 hours, getting them while the excitement's high, and then uploading pictures taken on either you took the photos or they took the photos with their phone. Not only does this mean you can take these photos immediately and get that review done in the first 24 hours, but you can also have photos that are more authentic and they look less produced and less polished. When people are coming to reviews, that's what they're looking for. They want an authentic experience. Now on your website, I would still have professional photos. At that point, you're selling the dream, you're selling the highest of highs of what it could look like. Then when people can look at the reviews, they're looking for authenticity, they're looking for, okay, what's it really going to be like? And the last thing is, none of this happens if you aren't actually asking for the reviews. So if it's not you personally and your crew's going to be out there, a lot of people, what we've seen do is incentivize either project managers or crew members to get reviews. Maybe that's a bonus for getting a review in the door. You could specify 5-star reviews, or an additional bonus if they're mentioned by name in the review. If you are looking for immediate next steps today though, instead of just in the future, then make a list of all your past projects you've done work for, but you haven't actually gotten reviews from. Just make the list, go through, call them off, reach out, see how they're doing, follow up with them, and then create space if it's going well to send over that PDF, some project photos from their project, and ask for that review. The nice thing about having past projects is then you can have somebody leave a review that says, hey, we're 3 years after the project has been complete and we still haven't had any problems. You can give a whole different angle on the review. Again, don't forget to include the project photos when you send that over to make it nice and easy for them to include in their reviews. Outside of Google and getting you ranked higher in search, how can you use these reviews? 3 ways that we recommend. First is social media. Take these stories and photos and put them out on your social media. Here's a few good example posts of what that looks like. Taking the information from a review and the photos and tying it together into a post that tells the story of your client, not of yourself. Next, a much more targeted approach is printing out these materials in a brochure. Here's kind of an example of what we made for clients in the past, and then putting that in mailboxes of the surrounding homes so they can see, hey, we worked in actually one of your neighbors' homes, here's what we were able to do for them. This allows you to have a super targeted ad campaign towards people that can already have a higher level of trust with you because they've seen you work in their neighbor's home. And lastly, take these reviews and photos and put them up on your website if you haven't already. Or maybe you have and you're just not doing it the right way. We actually went through and found that from all the client sites we built, the highest traffic pages were the home page, obviously, but the second page was the featured project pages. So here's a video walking through exactly how we build those and how you can build them yourself to get more leads and have a better sales tool in your website.